Good day, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our session. Apologies for last night. We had a little bit of I had a little bit of emergency, and as a result of that, I couldn't do last night's session. But I'd like to do the session with you guys this morning, and I understand that most of you will be at work. And so Jermaine thought it fit that I do a recorded session, a pre-recorded session, and then just put it out there for you guys, and you can then obviously go through the session as many times as you would like. So what I want to talk to you guys about today is just understanding the concept of supporting resistance and trends and retracements. And we're going to be looking at the pound dollar, because if we see that the pound dollar has currently just been moving in a downward market for some time now. With that being said, if you're looking at the other time frames, you'll see that it's a very confusing chart, and there's not a lot of clarity in terms of where this market is going or where I can find an entry. So even if I go over here to the daily chart, I just see a market it's going down, but I can't see an opportunity for entry. And this is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be breaking down this chart to a point where we can, number one, understand it, and secondly, find an opportunity for an entry point. And maybe we may not find an entry point right now, but what we can do is we can find an understanding as it relates to the way this market is being structured. Okay. So I want to start on the daily time frame, and I want you guys to have a look at something. I want you to see that if I zoom out, this market has been moving up for the last few months, and this is a very clear bull run, and until the market has now started to take out this low over here. Now remember what we said: when the market is trending bullish, we're making higher highs. So we have higher highs over there, and then we have higher lows, which is these ones over here. And we can see that this market has been making very clear higher highs and higher lows until we have what is called this double top over here. And this double top pattern over here indicates, or it tells us a story. And what this tells us is that the market has seen this resistance point before, which is over here. The market has seen this resistance point before. It retraced, and then it wanted to extend, but it was not able to break this resistance point over here. So what that tells us is that sellers are really strong on this level over here, resulting in the fact that that buyers aren't able to push beyond this point. And if buyers aren't able to push beyond this point, then clearly sellers is going to be the ones looking to dominate this market. So with that being said, if we look carefully, we'll see that this market has just begun to run further to the downside, but beyond that, it has also broken a previous low. And now the market, instead of making higher highs, because this high wasn't made, the market in fact made a lower high. Made a lower low. And as we know, when the market begins to make lower lows, we have a change in direction. And if you notice carefully, and I put this cursor over here, the market broke the second low of the previous low. So that low over here was broken all the way over here, as the market is currently testing a very key low or key level low, which is over here, and that level is currently being tested over there. But momentum clearly signifies that we're looking for a continuation of this sell-off. Considering the fact that the market has been taking out lows this entire time. But the question is, where do we enter the position? Where do we enter this trade? So what we're going to do over here, I'm going to highlight on the daily chart, I'm going to highlight that low, because I can see that the market is on a support level. So if I zoom in on this trade, I can see that the market went from point of high all the way to point of low. Now, naturally, we're going to be assuming that we're expecting a retracement, but bear in mind, guys, this is a daily time frame, and we cannot look at the daily time frame and expect a retracement to come about in a few days. I want to go into a little bit more depth with this chart as it relates to the structure of this market. But for now, I want you to understand the basic concept of breaking down the chart and making it simple to, number one, understand. And once you understand it, you can understand where to enter the position. What we have now is a very strong bear candle that closed yesterday. You'll see that this was yesterday's close, and now currently today we have this little candle over here. And because it's only it's only just after 8:30, we cannot call this anything only because of the fact that this candle over here is still busy forming. So we know that this candle is forming. So we look at what happened yesterday. Yesterday we had a very big sell-off as it relates to this currency pair, and the day before that we closed this shooting star over here. And I'm going to be explaining to you guys why we're calling this a shooting star and not an inverted hammer. But essentially, what I want you guys to understand is that this market is actually telling us something. And in order for us to understand what is happening inside these candles, we have to go to the smaller time frames. So I can see that this candle over here, number one, is very bearish. And this candle over here, number two, is still busy forming. But it is clearly being influenced by the previous candle, which was yesterday. We will now go over to the 4-hour time frame, where we will have a look and see what is actually happening. And what we'll see is that the market just continues to make lower lows, and the market comes to this downside, and it's just such a complex, unclear opportunity. There's no clear direction. There's no clear opportunity of entry. There's nothing to signify an opportunity to enter, but we can confirm that the market is still looking to move further down. What I do, however, want you to note is a small detail, okay? And you may miss it, but if you're gonna miss it, you're gonna miss it because you're looking at it from the 4-hour aspect. And if we want to get sense of this, we need to go to the 1-hour time frame. And this is where I want us to start our session. Basically, is if I look at this 1-hour time frame over here, I can see that the market is currently at this point over here. Now, the question I'm asking is why is the market breaking to the downside? Why is it not continuing to go further up? And although this is a very interesting question, this question is supported by a very unique market structure, and we've covered this many times before. What we have over here is our support level, our resistance level all the way up over here, and we have our support level all the way down over here. Okay. And what I want you to see, usually we will look at this as a support and that as this is the resistance and this is the support. And what we will have is a just clear trend, drawing the fib, and then we'll see, okay, where's the market looking to retrace? But what we must understand is the question we need to ask ourselves is what trend allowed this retracement? Because this trend did not allow this retracement. This trend over here allowed this retracement. If I was to just show you an example, if I was to look at it from this angle over here, it was because of this trend that we found over here that we got this retracement over there. And there, as a result of that, is because of this trend over here that we got this retracement over here. So if I was going to draw in the fib, my fib will have to be drawn in from a specific point. And what I will then go forward to do is, if I look over here and I take my fib, remember I'm trying to confirm a retracement level. So I'm taking my fib and I'm drawing it from my point, my A, B, and I'm drawing it in from there. What I want you guys to notice is that it does not come to test the 61.8 fib. In fact, what it does is it actually tests the 50 fib. Now, why this is such a significant level is because the market was not able to break beyond the 50 fib, resulting in the fact that we can confirm that this is 50%. This is the 50% retracement of this trend over here. But I can't take the same fib and apply it to this level over here. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to find another fib. And so I see that that is going to be my A and this is going to be my B. I draw my fib in from B to A, and what I will come and find is that instead of the market looking to test perhaps 50, I can see the market testing 38.2. I see the market testing 38.2 because what we have is a very similar setup that we had on the daily time frame. Remember when we said that the market trended to the upside and tested the resistance only to retrace and to retest that same resistance, forming this double top pattern, indicating that the market is losing momentum to the upside and starting to gain momentum further to the downside. What we have on the 1 hour time frame is that if we look at the market testing this at 38.2, we have that very same setup over here, where the market has trended to the upside, or where the market has run all the way up to the upside, had a bit of a pullback, and then came back to retest that upside, and now the market is starting to build momentum further to the downside. So now we can understand why this market is actually moving down. Why is it not moving up? And the reason for that is because currently we're on a level of resistance. We're on a level of resistance, number one. And number two, we are in a bear market, a start of a bear market. So in a bear market, we're looking for opportunities to sell, and therefore we're looking for levels of resistance. And if I was going to look at this as an opportunity, I would definitely consider selling at around this point of the year. The best opportunity, the best time to have sold for me personally would have been this nice shooting star over here. And that is all I'm going to need. This shooting star, coupled with the fact that the market was not able to break this high, and I will now see the market possibly rolling over to continue making lower lows. So I really hope that this session has helped you understand what is actually happening in this pound chart over here. And if you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to pop me a message in the Telegram group, and we can definitely discuss it. I will definitely be making more of these types of videos just so that you guys can get an idea of what are we looking at and how do we break the markets down and how do we analyze the chart to such an extent where we can actually find value in our entry. So with that, I'm going to leave you, and I hope that you have a really good day, and we'll pick this up again next week. Thank you guys so much.